Well, morning all. This is the second touristy day of my French travels. Today we find ourselves in the city of Caen, if I've said that correctly. It's a city that has a great deal of history to it. It was heavily bombed in the Second World War by Allied troops because of its strategic location. It's very close to a lot of the D-Day landing beaches, and over the next few days we'll be exploring one or two of those. We've got one or two campsites that are fairly close to the beaches themselves, but as you can see behind me as we go around, there is the Abbey, which is a stunning building. Certainly wouldn't want to clean the windows, and it's the first of the big landmarks that I was suggested to see. So we'll go and have a little wander and catch up with you a bit later. So this is St Etienne Abbey, or Men's Abbey. In 1066 work began on the Benedictine Abbey that William, Duke of Normandy, had promised to build as an act of redemption for his marriage to his distant cousin Matilda of Flanders. The huge construction project used local stone, which was cleverly used to give the Abbey church the massive proportions it still has today. The church was consecrated in 1077 and completed in the early 12th century. A new chancel was erected in the 13th century in the Gothic style. To this day it holds the tomb of William the Conqueror, crowned King of England on December 25th, 1066, a few weeks after his victory at the Battle of Hastings. The buildings that I'm showing you now are now used as the town hall, with the Abbey to the side. Right, so this is the inside of the Abbey itself. Probably going to have to be pretty quiet in here, but this place is immense. In this area at the very end of the church, obviously is the altar, and this here is the tomb of William the Conqueror. reading quite a few of the information sheets within the abbey, it's quite obvious that the city was heavily bombed during the latter part of the Second World War leading up to D-Day, and many of the city's buildings were destroyed. And it would seem that they've tried to rebuild a great deal of the city centre in keeping with the existing buildings. This area is a perfect example of where there's an old church and then new apartments and a new commercial building. All recent, all what would seem to be relatively modern, but built in a style to reflect the rest of the city. And these are the little streets that are fantastic to walk down. Everywhere you look, cake shops, little cafes, boutiques, and then again, absolutely stunning architecture. You really do have to remember to look up. And a pointing case here is church, obviously undergoing some restoration, but we just swivel around. Have a look at that for a church tower. Wow. Okay, this is the front of Caen Castle. Castle was built in 1060 by William the Conqueror, and the ducal castle became a favourite residence of the Dukes of Normandy, Kings of England 1066 to 1204, who transformed it into one of the largest fortified enclosures in Europe. Let's go inside. Massive amount of remodelling work going on, but once you're on the inside of the castle itself, it's just huge. The footprint of the whole thing is absolutely massive. It's got its own church, look. It really makes you wonder, or to think that there was no reason the poor peasants had no money, because if the kings could build something like this, it must have taken an enormous amount of money. This is the interior of the Église Saint-Pierre. This is the church that you could see from the castle battlement, looking down over the front gate. And yet another beautiful church.